afternoon. Thank you guys for coming today to celebrate this wonderful building here in the Page Middle community. I see lots of wonderful people here that have put a lot into the history of Page Middle School. I'd like to recognize Mr. Waters here, who was the opening day principal. Got Page Middle started off to a great. You know, I think Page is a little bit unique in that in its almost 45-year history, there have only been 4 principals of the school building. Mr. Waters, Mrs. Anita Anderson, Mrs. Josie Jacobs, and myself. And I think that is a testament to this community, that people get here and they stay and they don't want to go. And I just think that's a wonderful place to be, and what makes this place so special. Have a lot of people in attendance that have put a lot of sweat and tears into this building, really helped this community grow, and we'll be excited to have them up when it's time to cut the ribbon. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Jason Golden.
Thank you, Dr. Lucy. Eric, very much appreciate it. I appreciate you all being here. You know, I've been with the district, this is actually my 20th year, and I arrived here when Anita Anderson was the principal. And she felt like a family. She made it family here at Page Middle. And there's something about a middle school where they have that short window of time, just a 3-year window. You know, you spend 6 years in elementary here, and you've got that 4 years of high school, but that short window of time in middle school is short. But it is important. You think back to your time, those of you who are out of school, that we have a few students here, those of you who are out of school, those middle school years can be tough. And the care that teachers give those students during those transition times just can't be matched. When I think about Page, when I got here, I thought about this phrase that we heard regularly. The communication we often heard, Dr. Livesey, was something along the lines of, the Page community is a hidden gem. You've heard that phrase before. And I'll probably speak to that at the high school when we do the ribbon cutting in about an hour and a half, about that being a hidden gem. But we know it's not hidden anymore. It's still a gem, y'all. It is a gem. The legacy that you left, Mr. Mays, and the culture that you created, we hope and pray, and I think it's true, that we've been good stewards of that we've maintained that culture that you built. Those of you in the audience may not know that the colors and the mascot were started that very first year that this school opened, and it's built that community as the students matriculated up to Page High School and made this community what it is. And I think about that. Another thing I think about, a little bit more practical, is growth. This area is just growing. And for many years, we went through that process with our school board and with our county commission of dealing with growth in Williamson County. And the growth just sometimes felt overwhelming. And this Page community continued to grow. Just a few years ago, that growth started stabilizing, and we were able to look and say, okay, we've got some areas that really need a lot of attention. The instructional practices, the quality of instruction that we give students in some of our schools just is unparalleled statewide, but some of our facilities had reached the point where they needed to be replaced. And I tell you, it's hard sometimes because of the cost associated, but our board made a commitment, and our county commission made a commitment to meet our families where they were and where they needed to be, and that's what you see here at this new construction at Page Middle School. We have also added capacity here, and just from last year to this year, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Livesey, you have about 120 more students this year than you did last year. So our growth is stabilized countywide, but this community continues to grow. Other parts of the county have started shrinking because nobody's moving, but you all who live in this area, you know homes are still coming in and the growth continues. So I want to thank our school board for having the vision to plan and support us instructionally so that even 45 years ago, Well, 45 years ago, we had that commitment to do right by our students and continue to grow our students. And I want to thank the commission for that support and recognizing there is a need to give an even better facility, to grow that facility, and make sure that we're meeting our students' needs here, just not just for numbers, but in quality. With that, I'm going to introduce Mr. Josh Brown. He is our board chair, and he will introduce our school board members and say a few words. And Josh, I'm going to steal perhaps a bit of your thunder. You were a student here, and I'll just leave it at that and let you fill in some detail. So, welcome.
Thank you, Jason. And it is great to be, as a school board chair, to be part of anything that we do as a school district, but it's particularly great for me and special for me to be here today because, as Jason said, I was a student here from 1986 through 1988. Mr. Waters was my principal. When I walked in the door and someone said he was here, I just couldn't believe it. I think it's probably been since I was in 8th grade that I saw you, so great to see you. And thank you for all you did to keep me in line and help me get a good education. I might have been in your office a time or two, I'm not sure. You don't have to talk about it, it's okay. But it's really great. My daughter's here, who's a student here in 7th grade, and I've got a son who's a student here in 8th grade, and a daughter who's in 9th grade who spent 3 years here. So I just want to say thanks to Eric Lifsey and the whole team for the work you do, for the great leadership you provide at the school, for the way you've taken care of my kids and so many others. And just to say to the community who already knows this, that this is a wonderful school. We're so lucky to have this asset in our community. Thanks for all the support we get from parents. I also want to acknowledge that my fellow school board members who are here, Ms. Tanya Hibma, Dr. Claire Reeves, Mr. Jason Beasley. They do great work in supporting our entire school system. I really appreciate you all being here. We're a partnership on the school board, and we all have, I want to believe we all have the best interest of the community in mind in supporting this great school system and this great county. So thanks for being here. It's my privilege now to turn the podium over to the County Commission Chair, Brian Bether.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you all for being here. I really enjoy these. I've been to a few of them. I know we did one last week, and I wasn't able to participate in that one, but we're doing 2 of these today, and these are a real joy. I know I'm preaching to the choir. Education is really important in Williamson County. It is our economic engine. It is the way we train future leaders and future politicians to come up and take our place and hopefully make Williamson County an even better place to live. This school is going to forge memories that will last a lifetime. It already has, and it will forge more of those, not just with the children, but with the parents as well. Nothing really, if you think about it, makes a community as whole as a school. And whether it's the sporting events or the plays that you're going to see or the music, the band, the choir, it brings people together. And Page has a spirit that is like none other. And that's why it's a tremendous honor to be here today. I thank all of you for being here. And I want to introduce now our mayor. Most of you probably know the mayor, and he is announced that he's going to not be our mayor after this. I'm wondering if we might could change his mind tonight. It's really his vision and the vision of a commission that came well before I was on that made education what it is in Williamson County. Our schools attract people, parents, and businesses from all over the United States. And that's why it's so important to do rebuilds like this and make sure that we continue to be a step above the rest when it comes to our education. It's a competition, if you think of it that way, with other counties in Middle Tennessee, and we've been leading that race for many years. And a good, big principal reason that we've been leading that race is our Mayor, Rogers Anderson. Before I introduce him, I want to also introduce our fellow commissioners that are here. I serve with 24 commissioners, and there looks like 3 here today. We've got Commissioner Judy Herbert, Commissioner Betsy Hester, and Commissioner Greg Sanford. We thank them for being here as well. And without any further ado, it is my honor to introduce our mayor, my friend, a great leader of this community, and a great reason why we're here to celebrate education, Mayor Rogers Anderson.
Well, when I think of well, first of all, when you follow 3 ahead of you, Mr. Waters, as you know, there's not a lot left to be said without repeating. But when I think of Page, I think of an area many of you know, and Jason mentioned it. My late wife was a principal out here for about 10 years. She hired a few of you out in the audience. And I think of coming out here when you're a politician and she's a principal. About the only time you could eat was just catch a bite, and we'd go down to the little market. I don't even think it's open anymore. Is it open? It still is. We'd go down there and get a little bologna, and of course she was always so prim and proper and never wanted to eat anything that would put on an extra ounce, but that didn't keep me from eating that, I promise you. I also think of Page as some great leaders in our county have represented this area. One of them was Clyde Lanshaw. A bridge is named after him, is on the way out here on Arno Road. Mr. Moran, County Commissioner Moran. These gentlemen came before us and put a legacy down, and we're still enjoying the efforts that they put forth. In fact, we're getting ready to do a Parks and Rec program out at College Grove that Mr. Moran owned the land ahead of that time. I also think about Page as a time that, at one time, nearly 50 years ago, this school was just plopped out in the middle of nowhere to satisfy the College Grove and the Bethesda communities. It was a spot on Arno Road that had no, I mean, you had a water, but you didn't have any utilities out here to handle any of those things. So when you think back at the history and what these men and women have done and the principles, in those early days, there wasn't a model for you to follow. Your job was to keep it open, keep the kids educated, and get them over to the high school. Great sports program you've got out here. I don't know how many times you've been to the state football championship. I'll leave it at that. I know that's a sour spot. Baseball, basketball, great men and women have coached, and a lot of your students have gone through here. What do we look for the future at Page? This is the fastest growing part of our county. We have 53 schools, Jason? 52, you lost one before I got here. 52 schools. When I moved to the county, and by the way, if you're born and raised in Williamson County, would you stand up? Born and raised. You will not see a larger crowd than that. Anywhere you go, these folks, you can have a seat, but when I go and ask that question at the State of the County, we had about 500 people, not this many stood up. They move here because of the quality of life, but the number one reason is our public education, and they're finding their way out to this area we call the Page, the Rutterville, and the College Grove community. So thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me go down memory lane a little bit. Keep up the good work. Eric, you're following and inspiring a lot of future leaders that we have throughout here. And above all, if you're a teacher and you're a principal, hats off to you, because we can't do the things we can do without you. Thank you very much. And now I'll call Eric back there.
We have a lot of folks here today, and I know all of us want to get a part of this ribbon. So we're going to bring everybody up. We'll probably have to squeeze in very tightly to make this happen. But you know, that's one thing about the Page community, is that we all pitch in together to be able to get things done. So I'm sure we can make this happen today. So at this time, our county commission, our school board members, if you would like to come on up. Mr. Waters, if you would also make your way up if you want to. Next, any of the faculty and staff that would like to come up and have a part of this. as we're coming up, some of the staff members that are here were students here as well as staff members, and have some of our staff members were actually students since I've been principal. So I'm very excited by that. All right, PTO, I got some of my PTO staff. Would you like to come up, fit in? And then we have some students here. I know it's going to be tight. Any students that can squeeze in, if you want to, please come on up. Okay. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Woo. I'd like to say thank you so much to this community, all of our dignitaries, and particularly our staff and students who came out today. We have cookies and water in the back, and certainly you are free to walk through the building and tour any part of it you would like to.